So, what is our solar plexus? I'm wearing the color yellow today because it is associated with the color yellow. It's the third chakra that we're going to be discussing here um, on chakra alignment for your health, spiritually and mentally and physically. So, I like to think about the solar plexus. Let me tell you where it is. It's between the top of your belly button and the bottom of your breastbone or your diaphragm. It's basically your gut. This is like, your gut reaction, your gut feeling, okay? Think of a tree and, you know, the base of the tree holds the whole tree up. So this is your core. This is what makes your whole body stand, okay? This chakra really represents your personal power, okay? It's I like to think of it as, yellow like your sovereign light. This is your sovereign, truest individual light in the frequency, right? And a lot of us need to heal this chakra because we have to think about noticing these truths about ourselves and what narratives we've let control our sovereign free will, right? So, no matter what God you believe in or spirit, God gave you free will. This separates you from many other species, okay, on this planet. You have the power to decide for yourself. Unfortunately, as we grow up or as we're born, we're taught that if we do all of the things that society or our parents or whoever tells us, to do, that you will be a good person, right? So if you say yes all the time to everyone because they tell you this is what you have to do to be a good citizen or a good mother or a good daughter or a good, girlfriend, put it in any instance you want. Along the way, we begin to lose ourselves, our sovereign light, our free will. How many times have you felt stuck in something, that really, you know, you didn't really want to be in, but because, we're told that you're a good person if you do it, we continue to do it, okay? And in all of this, we lose ourselves. We lose our personal power, your gut instinct, your gut feeling, right? About where you are, if you're in a relationship that is not good for you, if you are in even friendships, that you're not growing from. We're always growing here, right? On earth. And you want to be growing for you. Through this journal, through writing these things down, you're realizing now. And so this realization has sparked, some interest in maybe, what do I want to do? Where is my personal power and where do I need to take that back? And this is where boundaries are born, right here. Boundaries are born in the solar plexus, okay? We all need to have boundaries. A lot of us empaths, a lot of people don't have boundaries, or they don't know how to exercise boundaries. Maybe they have them or want them, but you don't know how to exercise them in a healthy way, right? So, some signs that your solar plexus is off, would be digestion problems, right? After you eat, you don't feel good. You have bloating. You have, acid reflux. You would have inflammation. You would have joint pain. You could have an ulcer. You could, have sleeping problems. A lot of people don't sleep well, when their solar plexus is off, when they're people pleasing all the time. You could have headaches. You would have skin irritations. Eczema comes from this. Acne comes from this. Anything skin related starts in your gut, okay? Constipation. There's a whole slew of, internal. You would have, maybe food allergies. That comes from this. Digestion, I'm trying to think of all of them. Joint pain. There's a lot, a lot. And there's a lot of ways and a lot of supplements to combat these. I did take notes because there's so many that I knew, I wouldn't remember them. The good news about noticing your gut and your gut reaction, your gut feeling, this can be to people, places, and things, right? Sometimes you walk into a place and you just get that gut reaction, right away. Listen to these things. The more you listen to your body tell you these things, the easier it becomes, okay? And I wanted to give you some examples of some supplements that you could take if you have any of these issues, okay? Let's see. It would be peppermint. Peppermint tea is really good for stomach aches, or, just sucking on a peppermint. Bring them in your purse. You never know when you're going to have a gut reaction to something, right? Ginger for nausea. Like, they give you that when you're pregnant. It's natural, and that's why they give it to you. Raspberry tea leaf is really good for stomach problems. Valerian root. Aloe vera is good for your stomach, for irritable bowel. Fennel. Oregano. That's good for indigestion and bloating. Meadow sweet. Licorice root. Chamomile for indigestion as well. Sleeplessness, passion flower, valerian root, and California poppy. For joint pain, and I have taken this and this works. If you have joint pain, devil's claw. The one in the bottle, always with the dropper. I took this with some joint pain recently, and it works like a charm. I like to keep mine in the fridge after I open it. It keeps it fresher, and they last, okay? For acne, burdock, red clover, and tea tree. Not only taking this, drinking water. I really want to reiterate water, drinking. I'm not going to tell you to drink drink as much water as you feel your body needs, okay? I'm not telling you to float away, because I'm not a water drinker, and I really like to put lemon in it, because I don't really like water. I drink it because it's good for you, but I don't like it. Anything that you eat that is yellow, in the color yellow, will help, promote and open your solar plexus. Yellow peppers, lemons, turmeric is really good. What is it? Mangoes, bananas. Bananas are really good for a whole lot of things. I like to eat a banana every day. You know, if I'm in the grocery store, I pick up a banana, I eat it in the car on the way home. Maybe now that you're noticing your solar plexus and your power and boundaries, you've decided that, you know, you don't want to hang out with that friend anymore. You're not resonating with them anymore. Work, you know, you can say no. No is not a bad word, okay? When you're being true to yourself and when you're standing up for your sovereign power. A lot of people don't like to say no, but think of it this way. How many times has somebody else told you no? And how many times, you know, have you figured something else out? It's the same for you. You are allowed to say no in a respectful and meaningful way if it's being true to your sovereign self, okay? It was really hard for me in the beginning to say no. I was very much a say yes person, you know. I thought that I was doing the right thing by saying yes all the time. And at the end of the day, I was completely exhausted for my kids and my family and especially myself, you know. The good news is once you start saying no, it's easier to say no. It's just easy, you know. We've all done it. You know, you're getting off work and you got 30 minutes. You need to get to safety to pick up the kids, and then you got to pick up, you know, your husband's dry cleaning and the prescription, run home, cook dinner, do, you know, homework. But now your boss asks you to stay late because, you know, for whatever reason. And now it's going to ruin your whole schedule. And you can say no. No, I cannot stay late. And you don't have to share a reason why. I'm not saying say it in a mean or rude way. I'm not saying, you know, pepper spray the person at the grocery store that, you know, wants to get in front of you. Don't do it in a negative light, you know. Again, showing people how to be treated, they will respect you more. Trust me on this. Exercise your free will to say no and to create boundaries with relationships that drain you. I got rid of a lot of people in my life when I started realizing these things. And, you know, ask anybody now, I really look at an equal exchange of energy. Now, if somebody would stay late for me, I have no problem if my schedule permits it, right? But if it's that person that you know would not do it for you and the energy is not the same, you do not owe anybody anything except yourself. You know, enabling others to omit or emit a low frequency is really not helping the cause, okay? It's draining you and it's robbing the other person of their lesson in life, okay? We all have lessons. We are in life school, Okay, think of it that way. And when you enable somebody and drain your light, your sovereign light, all you're doing is prolonging the inevitable, okay? You're not, it is, you are robbing somebody else from their lesson to learn how to grow, okay? And when somebody explained it to me like that, it really resonated for me, okay? Also, I'll share a little story. After my divorce, I went from a troubled childhood into I was a single mom at a very young age, and I took care of my son for a long time before I met my ex, and I had never been alone. I didn't know what I wanted. I just knew I did all the things for everybody to make them happy, and somehow nobody was happy anyway, especially myself. I was exhausted. And I started to get into these, these questions of why, right? So I did Reiki. I went to the beach all by myself, and I did Reiki, and this Reiki specialist told me something that really resonated, and it helped me find my sovereign power. And she said, honey, you have this, bright, shiny light that you give so freely, like a hose. You spray it on everyone you come in contact with. But then you get home and you don't have any left for yourself. There's nothing left for yourself. And she said, I want you to think about still having that light, but put it in a well. And the people that are deserving of it can always come and drink from it. Okay? And I really sat on that for a while at the beach and thought about it, and she was right. She was right. You don't have to shine your bright, beautiful light on everyone all the time. Save some for yourself, because when you're happy and when you're sovereign and when you exercise boundaries, you have more time for the things that you love and the people you love, and you have a lot more energy, and it's the beautiful kind that you can spread every day all around. Okay? Yeah, that super important, think about getting out in the sun. Your solar plexus loves sun. Get that vitamin D. Today it's a little dreary, but when you can, get out in the sun and move your body. Go for a walk. Again, these things all go together. Start listening to your gut. Your gut tells you if you are in a safe space. You get that gut feeling, right? And usually it's never wrong, right? Find out later, yeah, I had that gut feeling and I didn't listen. I thought I was, no, listen. Every time you get that little nudge or that little feeling, listen to that. Listen to it, because your body tells you. And, with that, I think that's your personal power. We'll talk about, this goes right into your heart chakra next. And your heart chakra is, I stayed within my heart chakra a really long time to heal it. That we're going to talk about it. If you have any questions about your solar plexus, I did watch back the video, about your sacral chakra, and I misspoke a few times. They're highly connected, but I said solar plexus when I meant sacral chakra. So I'm sure, you know, I do these on the fly. I don't write all this stuff down, okay? So there's, you know, I'm keeping it real. I'm not gonna edit. I don't know how, first of all. Um, I got, you know, some apps, but, you know, I'm keeping it real around here. And that's about it. Go and I made some tea. I made some chamomile. Drink some chamomile tea. And think about it. You know, ask yourself, does my gut tell me that I need to make any changes in my life, you know, with relationships? Do I need to speak my personal truth? Do I need to realize my free will? And I guess that's it. I don't want to, you know, go on and on about it in a nutshell. We'll get back soon. And, you know, don't forget, make good choices.